Get down.
What's up, guys? Ivan here. Welcome to the Ivan Alarcon Talk podcast. And today we got AJ Schrader. Did I say that right?
Schrader.
Schrader. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, AJ, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
What's your like actual full name?
Austin J. Schrader.
Did you go by AJ
name.
since you were a kid?
Oh, before I was born.
What do you mean?
If I was a girl, my parents didn't know if I was going to be a boy or a girl. If I was a girl, I was going to be AJ. Allison.
Oh, no way.
Boy, Austin. They conceived me in Austin. There you go. So
is that the reason why?
Yeah. That's why it's Austin. And then J, my middle name is just a letter.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know you were born in Austin.
I wasn't born there. I was born in Newport Beach.
Oh, they can see. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay.
So,
where are you from again?
I was born in Newport Beach. Ended up here when I was about 10.
Okay.
So I moved to Chicago for a brief year, but
and you lived here for a while?
Yeah, since 10. So high school, middle school, ever since.
Cool, man. Nice. So for everybody that doesn't really know you out there, just tell me real quick about you. You already kind of said where you're from and everything, but kind of like, a little rundown real fast of who you are and what you do and all that kind of stuff.
32, married, 2 kids, 4 and 2. My older one is a girl, Logan. Younger one is 2, Parker. We live in Alamo, off Stone Valley by Monte Vista. We built a house down the street from my parents, the house that I grew up in, which is nice.
Pretty
my mom
cool
takes
house,
care of
I think it's badass.
Care of the heads, yeah.
I think it's badass.
Turned out good.
Are you guys still working on the yard?
Yeah. Bree is building a food forest.
A food forest.
Yeah. So
I never heard about. I heard that people build like a herb planter.
Yeah.
You guys have a food forest.
This is
what does that mean?
This is ambitious, but it's Bree is very into her garden, into the yard, trying to grow food, and I don't want to get too sidetracked on
That's all right. No, you can talk about it.
The way that food, when it's grown, grows best is when you have different varieties of food planted in the same area.
Okay. And
they ultimately feed off of each other, and they all sort of share nutrients in the ground, and everything grows better that way.
Okay.
We have industrialized farming, which is monocropping everything, where there's like corn as far as the eye can see, or beans as far as the eye can see. The soil ends up needing a lot of work and help.
That's the reason why people have to like create like this, all their fertilizing and all the specific chemicals they put on the water that goes through the whatever lines.
Right.
And
it produces a lot of food, and the way that we've set up our economy, a farm producing corn, selling corn, like that works really well. Versus like this week we have artichokes, and next week we have potatoes. Like it's hard for them to.
There's a reason why you go to the farmer's market and they're like, oh, this is not in season, right?
Yes.
Because the farmer's market is more like local and like smaller, not really like a massive.
Yep. So we have a lot of weeds, because weeds are very important, actually.
That's what you told me the other day. Weeds are actually good.
Yeah, very good. Very good for the soil, very good for the surrounding plants. They have a lot of medicinal qualities. Bree's really into herbs. She's kind of like a licensed herbalist. She can take my wife is sort of a hippie, but she can take the herbs and turn them into tea or herbal remedies or medicine or that sort of thing. So
that's pretty cool, man.
Food forest, yeah.
When is that? Does that already started or?
Yeah, it started. She's probably got about 2/3 of it sort of planted.
Okay.
But it takes a little while to sort of mature and start producing a lot of crop, because the plants have to get big enough where they can fight off frost, or they can fight off gophers. We have tons of gophers. And my dog is very ambitious, but catches none of them. So we're trying to figure out how to deal with the gophers. But so it's going to take a couple years. But it's already, she's got a massive garden area, like a traditional garden. And we get tomatoes for months. We get limes and lemons and apples. Cool. We get a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. So kind of keep talking about the nutrition and kind of eating side of it. So now that I know kind of like you guys are doing another, I assume that you guys are pretty clean, pretty healthy, right?
Very,
So particularly your diet, what do you, I call it, we'll call it diet, but it's not really like diet, right? Just like just your eating habits pretty much, right? The way you guys eat. I know you work out, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But on terms of your eating habits and food, like what does it look like? What do? Do you like specifically 3 meals a day or whatever it is, or like do you eat like is all vegetables or do you eat meat, or tell me about it?
I pretty much eat the whole plant diet.
Okay.
So we have almost no packaged food in our house. Very, very little.
Okay.
Tons of fruit, tons of vegetables, lots of good quality meat, grass-fed beef, chickens that were, pastured, raised well. We get almost all our food from the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And me personally, I do best on sort of a higher carb diet, lower fat. I just know that from just paying attention to my body.
Now, by high carb, this is pretty cool because a lot of people get confused with this, right? So by high carb, because I hear that you eat a lot of vegetables, right? And little processed.
Yes.
So when you talk about high carb diet, how do you get so much carbs without eating so much processed, refined carbohydrates?
It's hard. It's really hard, actually.
Totally. Most people can't do it. Most people are just like, you think about people that are not really, really dived into this. Like, it looks like you guys have been doing this for a long time. And like you said, Bree, knows a lot about it, right? Most people, when they think about, okay, I want to eat a lot of carbs because it works well with me, or maybe they want to gain muscle, whatever it is, right? They right away go by like rice, pasta, like all this kind of stuff that is not really a natural food.
Yeah.
So how do you do a high carb diet when you eat all vegetables and like meat?
Right. Well, so I do eat some of that stuff. I eat a lot of oats. I would say I eat oatmeal probably every day for breakfast.
I love oats.
And I oftentimes will eat that, and I'll eat like 4 eggs and spinach and some vegetables and some, bacon, or, a whole nother meal almost for a lot of people in the morning. But I'll probably have a bowl of oatmeal almost every day. Okay. And I'll eat rolled oats, which are great, probably taste the best. My kids like them the best. But I will order sprouted oats, raw oats, or they're still in the husk. And it's hard to find them, but you can order them online. And they're a little bit like, kind of have like a more like nutty, kind of earthy flavor. And they take longer to cook. They take as long as like steel cut oats. But they're not processed. They're not rolled. Like rolled oats, they dehusk them and they roll them out.
I think I've seen it. Are they more like rounded? You said like they're kind of like a bubble?
They're kind of like a rice grain. They look like a rice grain.
Oh, I know what you mean.
And they're a little bit darker.
Oh, so the ones that we see normally, like smack them like they're like
they run them through like a roller. So as far as I know, I'm not entirely sure how they do it, but they basically smash them down flat after they dehusk them.
Oh, okay.
And it loses a little. They're still really good for you. They're just a little bit more processed. There's a little bit more protein and a little bit more nutrients in the unprocessed sprouted oats.
It just loses some of the stuff when it goes through like the process of getting it.
Yeah, and sprouted means they've been basically soaked and then rinsed and then soaked and then rinsed and then soaked and then rinsed, and it gets rid of some of like the there's like some coating on certain things like beans and oats, rice, where if you soak it, you can end up getting rid of some of that acid. That's kind of acid on top.
Oh, I know what you mean. Okay.
It makes it a little bit better. But that's like way, 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 way on the far side of like paying attention to what you're eating.
Yeah.
But for the most part, back to the carb question, lots of oatmeal. I do eat a lot of rice.
Okay.
I try to soak it.
White rice?
White rice, wild rice, long grain rice, like whatever's available, whatever's good.
Yeah.
Mexican rice. I mean,
great. I'm glad you did.
A lot of potatoes.
Okay.
I'll eat bread. But sometimes I don't eat a lot of bread, but I do eat it sometimes.
So we eat at home, right? We eat like we've been super like the past. I mean, I've been doing this whole fitness thing for a long time, so I've been eating healthy. I'm gonna say for the past 10 years, I've learned a lot, and I've gone through like way better, of course, now than when I started, right? On my eating habits. But the past year, we literally, Whitney and I, my wife and I, we made a huge kind of like commitment. We're like, you know what? Let's make sure that we eat good, all healthy. Let's go to like farmer's market, buy all the fresh food, a lot of vegetables. If we're going to eat meat, make sure that it's grass fed, organic meat. We've been doing this for a while now, and we've been eating some bread. But what we do, and she's really picky about it, is she makes sure that she tries to get a like gluten free, organic, I don't know. She goes crazy on trying to find like the specific bread that she wants to eat, and we do it. We do it once in a while, but we try to get our carbs from, you were saying, oatmeal, potatoes. Potatoes are pretty high in carbs. And they're great. Yeah. A lot of people say like potatoes are bad for you. They're not bad for you. I mean, How can you say like potatoes are bad for you when you go?
They grow on the earth. You pull them out.
That's right. Yeah. Cool. That's great. So high carbs, potatoes,
and bread. So bread is incredibly easy to make. Actually,
you guys make it?
Yeah. If you buy a bread maker, super easy. You can make gluten-free bread. You can rice flour, almond flour. Super easy to make.
That's crazy.
So generally, the bread that I eat is stuff that we make. And what's really crazy about it is you make a loaf of bread, literally lasts 3 days before it starts to get mold.
Oh,
so then you think about like, how come this bread that I buy from the store lasts for 3 months?
Yeah.
And you're like, there's got to be something in there that's probably not great for me. Same thing with half and half. So I drink heavy cream or half and half of my coffee every day, multiple times a day. I get predominantly, we buy heavy cream from the farmer's market. There's a milk vendor there. And it's raw, which a lot of people have an issue with. But today, they get tested so much. I mean, there's not as much risk in raw dairy as there was a long time ago where people were getting sick. Anyway, that heavy cream literally lasts for like 4 days.
Really?
Yeah. So I mix it with their whole milk and I make half and half, but that only lasts like 5 or 6 days.
So literally just every week you just go buy more.
Yeah, and it makes like enough for 1 week and it's good. Yeah. But if you buy it from the store, I mean, some of the half and half at the store will be like 3 months, and you're like, there's something not quite right there.
You know, I think it's really cool that you mentioned that because a lot of people don't even think about it, right? It's like, oh yeah, that's the way it is. It just lasts a long time. It is great, right?
We've sort of gotten to this. I want to say it's like a evolution of how we pay attention to food, and I think people are, especially around here, are spending a lot more time thinking about what they're eating, but sort of in the lines they're looking at the details. Are looking at the macros of it.
Yeah,
the carbs, the fat, the protein.
Okay.
Not so much the quality of the food.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the next level. Like, okay, it's obviously you're looking at performing well, physique, whatever the reason is, being healthy. You want to make sure you're eating what's right for you. Carbs, protein, fat, avoid sugar, all that. Everyone's sort of in the same mindset with that. But eating grass-fed beef versus off the rack, non-organic or non-grass-fed, cheapest on the meat rack meat. There's a big difference there in your health. It's not just about what the calories and the ingredients say on the back.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. And I've been doing myself like the whole macronutrient, right? And we've been doing farmers market and all that stuff for a while. But you're right. I think that I was looking at, I don't remember if it was a podcast or it was just a video, whatever it was. But was talking about how like this guy was talking about how like, okay, you can do it either way. You're going to build muscle. You want to like whatever, improve your strength and bring your numbers up. You can either, it doesn't matter if he was saying, I was completely disagree, right? He was saying, it doesn't matter where you get your macronutrients as long as you hit the numbers right? I don't care where you get your carbs from it or your proteins or but the thing is this though, I personally experienced that for a year now, since I've been eating really clean, like farmer's market, make sure that it's organic and pick the right quality foods. I'm not just hitting my numbers because I'm hitting my macronutrients, but I feel a lot more energetic. I feel a lot better. And just everything feels so much better. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, like 2 hours to wake up. Sometimes I don't even need caffeine to just be awake. Right. But that's really interesting. Like most people don't even have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So now after, talking about the nutrition and everything, you're pretty healthy and you're high carb, right? Because you do well with that. Everybody's a little bit different, right? So
like the keto diet, this is my personal opinion. If you're doing CrossFit or some sort of high intensity interval workout.
Which I feel like most people are now doing that, right? Even if it's not CrossFit, high intensity interval training.
If you're doing cycling class and it's, interval sprints or you're going Orange Theory, generally that's all kind of the same thing. CrossFit's probably the most aggressive version of that where we can get a freaking we can be laying on the ground after a 3-minute workout.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Whereas like that doesn't happen so much, Orange Theory or these other places, but end of the day, high intensity interval training. My personal opinion is that, and I think that there's a lot of research behind this, high carb, low fat and high protein is a really good diet for that. Yeah. If you are a long distance runner or you are a triathlete, there is a lot of data that suggests more of the high fat, low carb, almost ketogenic side of the diet is beneficial for that sort of performance.
Yeah.
And I've just always felt better, higher carb, and I think it has a lot to do with the way I exercise. Yeah, I literally can't eat enough carbs, but it's hard for me to find the good ones.
Yeah. And the thing is this, now that you say that, I feel like this is really interesting because you were talking about like depending on the type of training you do or the type of sport or whatever you're trying to get out of it, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day too, I feel like people forget about like we're all different.
Totally.
We're all different. So the same way that maybe you can tolerate, dairy and lactose way better than maybe a bunch of people, right? Yep. It's the same way with everything else, right? So maybe you do better. Let's say you and I do the same type of sport. We're both training for maybe triathlon, which I am right now. Mm-hmm. I should be training, but I'm not really training. But let's say we're both training for it. We'll just do triathletes and everything, right? So
CrossFit's training.
What was that?
CrossFit's training.
Well, CrossFit, every day we do CrossFit, right?
But that's training for triathlon.
I guess it is. You're right. I mean, kind of. I'm not really I suck at swimming. I got to swim more because I'm going to sink. We'll get to that another time. But so let's say we do the same type of training, right? Or whatever. And then it doesn't mean that we both need to have the same exact diet.
Right.
Like if you do better with a high, good example. You do better with a high carb daily, right? That's what you're talking about. So most of the time you just do daily high carb. For me, I actually been doing for a while now a carb cycling diet where do 2 days of really low carbohydrates. And then 1 day of really high carbs. And the day of my high carbs, I try to make sure that my training is a little harder in volume. Yep. Because I'm trying to work with numbers too, where like those days, my goal is to be able to feed the muscle, feed my body with a lot of carbohydrates. And the first 2 days, I kind of starved a little bit from carbs. So my body's kind of starving from carbohydrates. It's a little more playing with numbers a little bit. But I realized at first it was just because I wanted to lean out and build up a little more muscle. Yep. But I realized it's actually working really good for me. Yeah. Just overall, I was going to do this for 30 days to kind of make some changes. And now I want to just continue because it actually works really well for me. So I feel like everybody's just a little bit different no matter what it is, right? So,
and I was doing the same thing. I was counting my macros, and that's kind of when I figured out that I really needed this higher carb diet. Okay. But I was doing the same thing. The days that I trained, I was eating like an extra 100 grams of carbohydrates versus the days where I wasn't, and I was eating more fat on those days, and that worked really well. I don't really have the time to pay attention to all the macros, so
I know what you mean.
I just surround myself with good quality food, and I try to eat a lot of carbs, especially the days I work out. And then I try to eat maybe a little bit less and a little bit more fat on the days I don't. Yeah. But
but now that you have the knowledge and you've done it before, you don't have to measure everything.
It's kind of a framework.
You kind of know, right? Yeah. People that don't know, they probably is a good idea to go for 30 days or 60 days, log in their stuff, because it's a good reality check of how much protein am I eating or how much 100%. Carbohydrates. Because some people don't have an idea, right? And as soon as you put them in, you're like, oh my God, I'm eating 50% carbs a day, right? That's when you can actually make some changes.
Absolutely.
Because not that carbs are bad for you, but it becomes bad if you start eating it too much.
Yeah, you want to be cognizant of it. And a lot of people aren't.
I think so, totally. Most people are not, right?
Most people are not.
Most people are not. I think that if you're somehow involved in a fitness community, I guess, right? You can get some knowledge and you can start learning more because you get involved with a lot more people that maybe know a little more about it and you can learn a lot more. But if you're the kind of person that just goes to the gym on their own, put the headphones on and just go work out, I mean, the only way to know is just doing the research yourself, right? And sometimes we don't have the time or just the interest in doing it, right? So we're lucky enough here that we are in an awesome community, CrossFit gym, right? CrossFit ATI. And then a lot of people know, coaches know, we kind of talk about it. And then we hang out with each other and we kind of share recipes and things like that, which is great. But most people don't know. Yeah. Sweet, man. Awesome. Okay, so we talked about nutrition a ton, which is great. People need to know about this stuff, because I think it's really important. And I'm excited.
And I'm an amateur. I mean, I just have learned from experience.
I was going to say, so your wife, Bree, right? She's doing something really cool with a friend, Sadie.
She is.
And I'm going to have him over pretty soon, which we're going to have a great talk, and we'll talk about a bunch of stuff. But
their talk will be way more informative than this one.
Okay. I thought it was great what we talked about, but no worries. So now tell me a little bit, what do you do, if you're okay sharing with this, you can say no, but what do you do for work? What's your daily
So I am a part owner of a commercial brokerage firm in Lafayette. I have 3 partners. There's 4 of us, and we own it's sort of a boutique retail brokerage firm. So we represent retailers, Pete's Coffee, Whole Foods,
nice.
TJ Maxx, and then down to local restaurateurs and local businesses, gyms, and help them expand, open new stores. And then we also represent centers, where shopping centers or buildings where there's retail space, and we're trying to find tenants for it. So yeah.
Okay. For how long have you done that?
2008, so 11 years.
Nice.
Yeah, and I actually interned before that. It's the only thing I've ever done. During college, I interned for a company that was doing it, and then I got out of college and I started as a full-time broker, and I've been doing it.
Oh, nice. So this is what you've done since you like pretty much finished school.
Yeah.
Nice. Where do you go to school?
Santa Barbara.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Did you play any sports in college?
I did. So I actually grew up playing a ton of sports. I was an only child. Was super into sports, like from the very first day. I was skiing when I was 2. I was, freaking playing everything.
Water ski?
Snow skiing.
Oh, okay, cool.
But growing up, I played ice hockey very competitively for about 10 years here, which was hard because there isn't a lot of ice.
Where'd you go here? Is that in Dublin?
In Dublin. Okay. And, I mean, there was very little hockey here.
Yeah.
But I mentioned earlier, I was in Chicago for like a brief moment when I was really young. And before that, when I was in LA, rollerblades had like just come out. And I bought them, and I was like playing roller hockey all the time. And then I moved to Chicago, and I'm like, this is my dream. I'm going to play ice hockey. So I did, and then we moved here, and I started playing here.
Okay.
But we had to travel, like, we go to Toronto. I mean, we can go to all over the place to play in tournaments and to find a high level of hockey.
Yeah.
So I played that for a long time. While I was doing that, I was playing basketball, I was playing soccer. I played tennis really competitively for a while.
Tennis is cool. I played tennis a little bit too when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I played soccer. I played basketball, and I played golf.
Damn, that's a lot of sports.
It is, but I went to a smaller school. I went to private school.
Okay.
So we weren't De La Salle. So I was a good athlete, but if I had gone to like De La Salle, I would have played one sport.
Okay, I know.
But in this school, I had the opportunity to play all three.
Okay.
And then in college, I needed that competitive kind of atmosphere team. So I joined the water ski team, which I sort of did recreationally growing up.
Yeah.
Wakeboarding. And it was more of a club team. I mean, we were really more of like a fraternity that had a boat.
Just go have fun, drink, and party.
A lot of partying at the lake. A lot of, but a fair amount of wakeboarding and water skiing. And we'd go to the lake every weekend. It was awesome. So I did that through college. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So did you wait? So okay, hold on. You say you kind of did it recreational through college, but did the college have like a water ski team?
Yeah. So
it was in the team.
Yeah. So it was a club sport.
Okay.
So most colleges, bigger colleges, have all their like, NCAA, D1, D2, D3, whatever.
Okay. I don't know any about this because I didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
Right? I grew up in Mexico, so I know that sports and stuff it works in college is a little bit different here.
Yep.
So that's why I'm asking all this stuff.
So like a major university will have a NCAA soccer team.
Okay.
Then they'll also have a club team.
Okay.
Which is really like that club team will go play other club teams at other colleges, just like you would at an NCAA team. It's just not as high level.
Oh, okay.
But some of those club teams are amazing. Like our rugby team at Santa Barbara was unbelievable. It was a club team because rugby wasn't really an NCAA sport for Pac-12 or whatever. No, I can't even remember what conference Santa Barbara was in, but it wasn't for that conference.
Yeah.
Anyway, so clubs, water skiing was a club sport. And it was not that competitive.
Okay.
But it was a club sport. That was the highest level of water skiing collegiately. ASU was like by far and away the best team in our region.
Yeah.
But everybody else was sort of like, recreational skiers. Maybe they grew up slalom skiing and their parents had a, lake house with the ski course. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think water ski is pretty amazing. I've done it before. I'm not great at it. Last time I went water skiing was, really good friend of mine, owners of Divine and Bridges. They have a cabin. In,
cool.
What's it called?
Discovery Bay.
Lake Tulloch, I think it's called.
Lake Tulloch.
I think it's Lake. It's like a man-made lake, right?
It's dammed.
I don't know.
Most lakes in California are dammed.
Okay.
So they're technically man-made.
Yeah. So we went there. It's been a while now. It's been probably probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I mean, I can get up and I can do stuff. Right? I can try to like jump on the what do you call it?
Wakeboard.
The wakeboard, the wake, and everything. But I fall. But it's pretty cool. I love it. It's great. Yeah. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I don't think people sometimes. I mean, maybe I didn't think about it because I'm kind of crazy, but It's just kind of dangerous. I fell acute a couple times, and I smacked my face in the water. Oh, man.
Oh, dude, I tore my knee in 3 different places wakeboarding badly.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have surgery?
At Lake Powell. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
ACL, MCL, meniscus. But what's interesting point about water skiing. So I was in college, and all of my friends were on the water ski team, and I still am good friends with probably 30 of them.
Yeah.
Really strong family values in water skiing.
No way.
Yeah.
Why is that?
For whatever reason, like having a boat as a family that actually gets used, a lot of people don't get used, but gets used, it just promotes like a good like family dynamic. And so Bree and I have talked about this a lot, but like all the water skiers that we knew in college, very little divorce in their family, really close to their siblings, like good family values. Very
that's interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And we still have a boat. Our kids are a little young, so we don't get out on it as much as we want. But
eventually when they get older, right, it's still like getting more into it and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We'll have you out this summer.
I would love to.
Lake Tulloch is where I learned how to wakeboard.
Really?
My parents had a house with a business partner.
I would love to.
Another family.
We promised to my friend Randy that we're gonna and I'm gonna have him here too eventually, but that we're gonna go this year sometime because we want to go. You know, I like kind of work my talents here, but I'll make the time to go for sure. Okay, so sports in college, super active since you was a kid, right?
Yep.
Now you do CrossFit.
Yeah.
Okay. You do a last workout, 19.2?
I did.
Okay, how'd it go?
It actually went pretty good for me. The first one I was kind of disappointed with. I redid it.
Okay.
And I was much happier with it.
Okay.
I'm not at tip-top shape. Been kind of sick, so I'm kind of...
Yeah, you hit that workout kind of, out of the weather, right? You were kind of recovering?
I'm just... Did
you do it twice?
I did, yeah. My
Sunday, you came on Sunday, right?
I did. I came on Sunday. My cardio is a little bit lax right now.
How far did you get?
I got through the second round. I got the 225 cleans, and I couldn't get one. I had about 40 seconds. Almost got one, which is heavy for me. I mean, it's
a lot, dude. It's a lot of weight. 185 for a lot of people is like really heavy. Like most people, like get to 185 and they're like do a rep or two, maybe a few. They have the time, but it's pretty tough. I mean, it's a tough workout. I remember 2016 when I did it. It was it hurt. I don't even think I got to the 225, and at that time, right, I was a high level athlete, right, and it's still like I'm a small guy.
You did amazing this time.
I did okay. I mean, I don't like to say that I did amazing, but I did. I mean, I can I don't like to say that I'm like, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm like short. You know how people say all the time, like we're both like you're a little taller than me, but people say like, I'm tall. Short guys have it easier in CrossFit. You're whatever. I don't like to say that because I'm short. I had a hard time with a workout. Because I'm small, I had a hard time with a workout, right?
Right.
But I mean, I got 5 at 275.
That's great.
And I weigh 170.
Amazing.
So I mean, I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
I wish my toaster bar went a little better. I was a little disappointed about that because I feel like being a small guy, right? I can do good at toaster bar. Like I'm light, but they were tough, man. I think you're working that.
This is what's amazing about CrossFit. The amount of thought that Castro, assuming that he is the one that actually designed that workout, which we assume, put into that workout. Like you look at it on paper and you're like, I can do toes to bar, I can do double unders, and the weight seems like it's going up kind of fast. And like 185 to me is like heavy, but not something that I can't.
You can still do.
Yeah. And literally, I got to 185, and I'm like, this is unbelievably hard.
Yeah, you pick up the same, but first weight, and the first weight feels like it's twice as heavy as what it was.
He just, like, the way that workout goes, and there's a lot of them like that in CrossFit, it's like, the design of it is designed to just debilitate you.
Yeah.
The combination of the movements. So, like, the toes to bar, you're amazing at toes to bar, I'm sure, compared to most people.
I thought it was good, but then you do this, and
it's like, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your body is, like, so freaked out from what it's just done for the past minute.
I love the whole thing, though. I love the fact that I normally don't do the workouts twice unless I feel like I'm going to, really trying to get somewhere right with this. But I did this one twice because I liked it a lot. And I was really like, I saw people doing it again on Sunday. And I was like, I wanted to do it on Sunday. I was kind of interested on Sunday. But then everybody started leaving. I was like, I don't have to do it. But then on all that night, I was thinking about it. I wake up in the morning. That night before I went to bed, I posted actually on my Instagram. I was like, okay, I'm doing this tomorrow. So I ended up doing it. There was a couple members here in the gym that helped me out change the weights, but I was stoked, and I'm glad that I got a better score as you did too, second time around, because this kind of sucks when you do it again and you do worse or the same. You're like, I went through all that and I didn't improve. But I mean, you still get a workout and you work out again and you improve whatever it is. But you go for that better score, and if it doesn't happen, it's kind of a bummer, right? But I'm excited for 19.3. We'll see what happens there. But going back to you, you've been doing CrossFit for a while now.
2014.
What is that? I'm super bad.
Like 5 years.
5 years. Okay, so 5 years. What did you do before CrossFit?
So I got out of college, water skiing, still had that kind of competitive nature. I mean, I would go skiing and be like, I got to get better at this. I got to get better at this. Yeah. Work at it, get better. So I got out and I'm like, I lost all that like competitive.
Most people do. Most people like just leave college and they're like.
I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I need it. Like I was like, I need to do something. I would go to the gym and work out on my own. And so I started doing, I have a really good friend who's a very, very elite level triathlete. Has been to Kona. He's older. I think now he's like 64. But he's...
Still do it?
Oh, yeah. He's an amazing athlete. Long endurance. So I went and watched him and I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I like bought a triathlon bike and it was a road bike, but I was using it. It was a nice one. I was swimming and I was doing that. I was running. I would run a lot. Okay. So I would do triathlons, like sprint triathlons, and I would do half marathons. Okay. And I've always kind of picked up sports pretty fast, like whether it's freaking beer pong or tennis. Yeah. I mean, I kind of pick it up relatively fast. I was okay at it, but not great. And I just don't think that I'm like really built for it. And it's just, the training is just long and I really liked the competitions. I really didn't like the training.
I know what you mean.
It just wasn't providing me the same sort of stimulus.
I know what you mean. Well, right now I'm training for a triathlon, right, that I have in about a month and something. And same thing with me. I mean, I get excited to go to the gym and do my routine, not necessarily lift weights, but it could be like a conditioning workout. And I'm excited to do it, and I, get a lot of, right now I train for this triathlon, and it's like, I feel like I'm not enjoying it, but it's different. I know what you mean. Yeah. It's different. It's not the same feeling.
Yeah, and doing it all the time, it's just getting up in the morning, running 8 miles, like, it's just kind of boring. Like, you have a lot of time to yourself, and that's great for a lot of people. But for me, like,
just didn't worry.
I love being around people. I'm really outgoing, and I love competing with other people, even if it's not like, even if it's just friendly. Yeah. So I kind of had heard of CrossFit, and I was like, I need to check this out. So I just Googled it, and I went to like the closest CrossFit gym to my house and signed up and took a free class and started doing it. Yeah, I was like, and the very first class I did was, it was 8 minutes. It was a 400-meter run, and then 10 strict pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 30 air squats. And it was like however many you could do of that run once. And I think I got through like 2 rounds. I got through like the 400-meter run and then 2 rounds of and the coach was like, dude, you'll be amazing at this if you just keep, like, if you come, like, you'll pick this up so fast. Yeah. Hey, he's like, I've never seen anybody on their first day just walk in and like do that well on that workout. Now I'm sure they get people that are coming are freaking amazing.
Well, I mean, that happens quite a bit if you have, not quite a bit, but it happens. You can see it a lot with people that are kind of like the same kind of background that you had, right? Yeah. If you were athletic in school and you play sports and everything, and then you it doesn't take too long for you to like continue somehow and then eventually start doing CrossFit, you can kind of pick it up kind of quick, right? A lot of the technical stuff maybe might take a little more time, right? But the athletic side of it, you can just kind of jump straight into it, right? Yeah, but I think you're right. Like, the level has changed a lot, and I think that sometimes like gyms tend to take the route where like they get too competitive, which I don't think is wrong, but I mean, us here in the gym, I try to make sure that we accommodate the program and the class and everything for everybody, right? And you can see it's pretty cool. You come to the same class and you have like somebody like you that's been coming for a long time, and then somebody just joined like a month ago, right? And then maybe they've never done any weightlifting before. Maybe they were like cyclists or whatever, but they've never done any weightlifting before, so they're new to it. Or they've never done anything before and they start from zero, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But
that's a great thing about CrossFit, because you can have somebody that's been doing it forever and they're like encouraging the people who are just starting. It's a great little community. I mean, you have one here, but a lot of gyms have great community, and I think you're right. I think some gyms lose their way a bit, and they really focus on the higher level athletes, which probably make up a small portion of their community. Yeah. And
there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, whatever you decide to do. And then there's people out there, they that's what they want to do. I mean, I know people that have like, they travel a few cities to go to a gym like that because they want to just do that, right? Which is totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. But
it depends. If you incorporate those people with the rest of the community, it can be great.
Yeah.
I do some traveling for work, and I've dropped into gyms where it's very clear, like the coaches and the people that own it, like they're in their little like competitive clique, and like the rest of the people that are there are just like bystanders. They're just there to like maybe pay and get some exercise, but like they're not really involved.
It sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want that. Oh well. But sorry, go back to what you were talking about. So you before CrossFit I didn't know that you did like running and try to do the triathlete stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. So now that you've been doing CrossFit for a while, how do you feel like working out in general, specifically you do CrossFit, but working out in general and then how, which I'm pretty amazed. I'm going to learn more when Bree comes over here, but how you've been, you eating habits for the past, whatever years you've been doing this. How do you feel like that affects in a positive way, I believe, your job and your relationship at home with whatever?
Hugely important. I mean, my mental state when I get a workout in or get some good exercise is like 100%. And when I don't get any exercise in, I mean, if I have a day where I'm like, I'm resting today, like I'm still in a great mood. Yeah. But if I'm like, I really need to work out today and I don't get it in, like my mood is just noticeably worse.
Yeah.
It's an addictive thing.
Yeah.
And, but Bree's the same way. Like if she gets good regular exercise, she's in a much better mood. If our kids get outside and run around a bit, they don't even know they're getting exercise.
Yeah.
They're in a way better mood. So it's just, and the food part of it is really important too. Like people don't think about how the food makes you feel, but you go eat a pint of ice cream and then you're in a bad mood the next day. A lot of people don't really connect those dots.
Well, there's a good example that I tell a lot of my young athletes who I work with, because sometimes a lot of kids don't really have the knowledge and they just eat crap all the time, right? Yeah. And then people in general, I don't want to go back to the whole nutrition because we talked about it for a while, but it's like having a really fancy car, right? If you have a really fancy car, whatever you're going to put in it, oil, gas, and everything, you want to make sure that it's the best quality, right? Because it's going to run better. Yep. If I have a fancy car, because I believe every single body, every single human being, it's a fancy vehicle, right?
Totally.
I mean, the technology we have built in ourselves, like it's amazing, right? Same way, right? If you put crappy fuel in your body, you're gonna just feel and perform crappy, right? Yep. But if you put good fuel in your body, you're gonna see good results, right? So makes total sense.
It's hugely important for our family, and I think a lot of people don't recognize the value of it.
Yeah.
And exercise is intimidating for a lot of people. Like
totally is,
going running like hurts when you've never run.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, just do what you can do, and people will be amazed. They're amazed at how much that makes them feel, even if it's like walking downtown and back. But then people are like, they feel like, oh man, like I got to go like punish myself for an hour.
Yeah.
To get any value, and then they don't do it at all.
So this is really interesting that you say that, because I've been in this. I'm like super. People sometimes think that I'm like, no, people they don't think, but I feel like the people might think. This is my the way that I see things. I feel like sometimes people think that I'm like way too positive, because I'm always positive. I'm always like in a good mood, right? I feel that these people that have been telling me like, Ivan, I never seen you in a bad mood. I never seen you like whatever it is, right? But I feel like it's all, a lot of it is mental, right? So if working out is not, it doesn't come natural to me, right? If haven't been an athlete for a long time, if I haven't like been like, kind of involved with like physical activity and sports since I was a kid, I can see how people can have a little bit of a hard time like finding a routine and working out and everything. But at the same time, it's like, it's almost like Mondays, right? Most people hate Mondays. Why? It's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. Like if you're going through your weekend thinking, oh my God, tomorrow's going to be Monday, that sucks. Like that really sucks, right? I tell people it's like Monday should be like every other day. If you know that you have to like go back to work and everything, right? And maybe working can be stressful. I feel like you always have to look for the positive of everything, right? For example, you were talking about running hurts, working out hurts. If it's not in my blood and I didn't grow up, being active, I have to figure out a way for me to like, somehow be positive and enjoy exercise and maybe find what it works for me. Because at the end of the day, exercising and health is really important, right? We all have people that we love around each other. And if you care about your spouse, your kids, your dad, your mom, right, you're going to take care of yourself. Because the thing is this, you want to be around for as long as you can to be able to be with your loved ones, right? Friends or whatever it is, right? If you don't take care of yourself and if you don't prioritize your health, which is working out and eating healthy, right? Well, we see it every day in the news. How many people have like heart disease, diabetes, conditions that are like not
depression.
Exactly. Just depression.
Anxiety.
Exactly. And just because, the reality is that people have bad habits. And the problem too is that on top of bad habits, we live in this, world where like we have to do things. Like I have to go to work. Oh, it's Monday. I have to do something else, right? Well, yeah, there's things in life that might not be fair and they throw you, you do things that might not want to do. But at the end of the day, if we look at things on a positive side and at the same time, I'll look for a way for me to be able to go through a lot easier, right? Being positive, it makes everything easier. So going back to what we were saying, exercise, right? I have to find what makes me enjoy what I do, and I'm not, every day, oh my God, I got to work out tomorrow. I got to go to the gym, right? Because that's a big part of it. If I don't do that, then that's when it becomes really boring and it really, I'm not going to enjoy it. And eventually I do it for a month or so and then I'm going to quit, right?
And if you're not an exerciser, like getting over the initial hump, like, okay, I want to start running. Running really, really slow at like a 12-minute pace and just going short distance and then kind of building it up. You get over that hump and you're like, I actually enjoy this now. Versus like, oh, there's no way. Like it hurts. It makes me uncomfortable. It takes too long. Then you just never do it.
Yeah.
So, and even if it's like yoga, it can be there's so many different ways to get exercise.
Totally.
And I truly believe that the number one benefit to exercise is mental. And everything else is just a nice byproduct. If it makes you look better and you lose weight and you gain muscle and you feel great in a bathing suit or without your shirt on or whatever, like that's all just a additive. Like the main benefit is mental.
Yeah. Yeah, your health is super important. But I go back to what I was saying, right? It's like, I feel like most people think that exercising and try to be like, look at your diet and working out is just to look good. Right? No, it's just you don't die too soon. It's you don't get heart disease or you're, get diabetes or like, depression or things like that, right? It's your health. Like everything else comes, with it and it's awesome. But at the end of the day, people need to understand this is what you need to do if you want to live a better, healthier life and live longer. Right?
You go to any CrossFit gym and 95% of the people that are there are super positive people. They're like you. They're all happy for the most part, unless, some people are. The people that generally complain or in a bad mood, like they're being funny. Like they're not actually in a bad mood.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
They're genuinely upbeat people.
Yeah, people come to the gym like, oh man, this workout is gonna suck, right? Things like that. It's more of a kind of like they kind of say that because it kind of gets into the workout and try to be funny.
Camaraderie.
But for the most part, you come to the gym, and I believe that this is the same on every single kind of community class environment gym, right? Not necessarily just CrossFit, because a lot of places out there where they have like some sort of boot camp or whatever. Right. Anything that is more of a class or into gym where you can interact with more people, it becomes way better, right? Because people come in, they might not 100% enjoy working out, but then when they leave so much happier because they're like, oh, that was actually a lot of fun. I got to see blah, 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 whoever it was, right?
Endorphins. You get some endorphins from it. You accomplish something. You talk to good people, and people are generally upbeat at CrossFit gyms and gyms in general.
Yeah.
So, there's definitely a correlation there.
Totally. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Last question for you. So we talked about nutrition. We talked about, your background in sports. We talked about your work just a little bit, not much, just a little bit, so good. Mentioned your family a little bit. And then, so my question now is do you have any goals, short-term goals right now, or any long-term goals on your anything? I don't care if it's like fitness or nutrition or like business goals or whatever. Is there anything that you've been working towards and you make sure you stay healthy and work out and eat good? All the stuff that we talked about, right? Is there any specific or long-term goal that you have on all this?
I've got several goals that are over all those parameters, but I'll just talk about sort of gym goals. When I started CrossFit, I was pretty athletic, like I was saying. And there's a good and a bad part of that. Like I picked up things really fast. I picked up the skills really fast.
Yeah.
The lifting, cleans and Olympic lifts really fast. But I don't think I spent enough time on like the basics.
Okay.
And getting into the right positions. And ultimately I've fought a lot of on and off injuries, mostly with my shoulders. So lately, this past sort of 6 months, I've kind of decided that this year, and it may not be this calendar year, but for the foreseeable future, like I want to get completely pain-free coming into the gym, no matter what we're doing, whether it's a snatch or whether it's a thruster or whether it's whatever. Like I want to be almost pain-free when I leave, when I'm working out and not have to deal with it. And if that means maybe I'm not doing quite as well in the open as I may have in the past because I'm spending more time doing accessory work and doing strict strength training or ability work versus, crushing another Metcon. So be it. But like that's my goal. I don't have like lofty CrossFit goals like I'm going to make it to the CrossFit Games or I'm going to make it anywhere. I just want to be really happy with what I'm doing, get better versus myself, and be able to do it for a really long time.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that because I think that a lot of people sometimes have the perspective of like they come to CrossFit and they have to keep up, right?
Absolutely.
You don't at all. I mean, tell people when they come in, we do the best job we can to make people understand that, look, we're here for you to be healthier and improve yourself, right?
Yep.
You don't have to come in and do what everybody else is doing, or, you don't have to come in and that means that you got to like, at the end of the day, we got to be realistic, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So a great point that you said, okay, I'm not here to go to the CrossFit Games and you're not here to the CrossFit Games. You don't supposed to train to go to the CrossFit Games, right? So taking a step back and be able to like work in yourself and work in your movement and make sure that you improve your movement pattern and your fitness and your strength and your joints and your flexibility and all that stuff is what we're trying to focus on, right? Which is great. Well, that's a great goal. That's good.
I listened to a podcast and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a power lifter and he deadlifted 1,000 pounds twice.
Okay.
And the point that is relevant to this is the host started asking him about, there's these incredibly, I'll say crazy programs where you deadlift every single day or you squat every single day. And he's like, what do you think of those? And this guy obviously is a highly accomplished weightlifter. And he said, the best program for somebody is the program that builds marginally on what they just did.
Okay.
So that means you just showed up in the gym and you can barely do a push-up.
Yeah.
Like you should be working off of that as your baseline.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I can barely strict press 20 pounds. Probably shouldn't push jerk 95 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? So like building off of that slowly and consistently, that ends up having the best results, which is exactly kind of what I'm trying to do with my goal. Like, okay, I can
step back a little bit.
I can maybe jerk 235 pounds or 245 or whatever it is, but like I don't think I'm really in the right position strength-wise to do that. Yeah. So like let's take it back a little bit.
Totally. Cool. That's awesome, dude. That's great. Well, good luck in your goal.
Yeah.
Keep it up. If there's anything we can help you here, let us know.
Oh yeah.
And then always help. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.